Ladies and gentlemen, there is no doubt that the choice of this beautiful place, Belém, where Amazon opens its arms to the world, as the host of this year's gathering of the global climate leadership, is both symbolic and inspiring. It reminds us of the essence of what the world seeks to preserve: the splendor of nature and the delicate balance of life that sustains us all. Nigeria, therefore, stands with the global community in the collective resolve to heal, to restore, and to sustain this place we call home. We are here because the earth speaks to us. It speaks not in words, but through the devastations we witness every day, through the floods that wash away entire communities, through the droughts that parch our farmlands, through the hurricanes that batter coastal towns, through the wildfires that consume ancient forests, through the heat waves that choke our cities, and through the conflicts that happen because of all of this. The earth speaks in the language of loss and warning. It tells us that our survival is tied to its well-being. These are the cries that have compelled us to gather from one city to another in pursuit of one shared purpose: to save the only home we have. So I bring to you today not only the goodwill of His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but the assurance of Nigeria's unflinching commitment to climate action. We thank the government and people of the Federative Republic of Brazil for their exceptional hospitality. A few days ago, Nigeria took a bold step forward. We approved two landmark instruments: the National Carbon Market Framework and the Climate Change Fund. These are the pillars of our climate finance architecture. They are designed to build a transparent and high-integrity carbon market aligned with Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. Through them, we can generate, trade, and retire carbon credits with credibility and fairness. We can mobilize billions of dollars in climate investments to finance adaptation, resilience, and green industrialization. The proceeds will flow into the Climate Change Fund to support communities most affected by climate impacts. To guide this journey, we have launched a 5-year carbon market roadmap. This will establish an emissions trading system and a carbon tax regime strengthened by fiscal incentives that reward clean innovation. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria's third nationally determined contribution, validated and submitted in September 2025, marks an ambitious step in our climate journey. It commits us to an absolute emission reduction of 32% by 2035 and chart our way to net zero in the long run, supported by strategies across energy, agriculture, transport, waste, and industry. Our decade of gas strategy anchors this transition, using natural gas to stabilize power and drive industrial growth, while expanding solar and off-grid solutions for rural electrification. Through these efforts, we are powering small businesses, promoting clean energy, and transforming agricultural waste into opportunity. Nigeria's geography, from the Sahelian plains in the north to the mangroves of the Niger Delta, reflect nature's generosity and reminds us of our responsibility to preserve what sustains us. This is why we are investing in climate-smart agriculture, livestock transformation, and sustainable land use practices that reduce conflict over resources and enhance food security. Yet, no nation can finance climate ambition with goodwill alone. Climate finance remains the vehicle of effective implementation, and we therefore call for a reliable and equitable architecture that recognizes the unique realities of developing nations and empowers them to deliver on global commitments. Nigeria welcomes the operationalization of the Loss and Damage Fund and urges our partners to ensure its accessibility to the most climate vulnerable nations. Nigeria asserts that Africa's voice must not echo as a cry of vulnerability, but a chorus of innovation. Our continent is rich in renewable resources, biodiversity, and useful ingenuity. I hereby say with absolute certainty that we are not the problem. We are an integral part of the solution. This is why at COP30, we hope to demonstrate that Africa can lead in carbon capture through forests, in renewable energy expansion, in digital monitoring of emissions, and in regional cooperation that translates ambition into prosperity. Excellencies, let COP30 be remembered as the moment when the world moved from pledges to performance, from ambition to action, and from dialogue to delivery. For Nigeria stands ready to work with all nations to build a fairer, greener, and more resilient world, one where our children will inherit not the ruins of our indifference, but the fruits of our collective resolve. Thank you so much.